Welcome to Days Gone. Meet Deacon, a motorcycle gang member who's doing his best to survive the zombie apocalypse. I spend most of my days shooting zombies, riding my little motorcycle around, and observing the morbid yet undeniably creative displays my enemies present me with. It's cool that even though the world's completely fallen apart, people are still finding ways to express themselves. I decide I'll ride back to my hideout and see what's going on there. On the way, I have to ride over this mass grave, which is great, as now I don't have to bother taking that Kentucky tour through the Middle East. I head back to my base, which is located in a forest fire watchtower. I've always thought the automatic gates were a questionable shout, given the zombies are roaming around. I mean, one could just wander up and show themselves in. That's the stupidest design flaw I've ever seen in my life. I proceed to fill up my bike with petrol and then head upstairs. This is my best mate Boozer. He hurt his wrist, so now he just sits up in this tower sleeping all day like he was Rapunzel. If Rapunzel had no hair, a weak mentality, and was a Nazi sympathiser. Seriously, he hurt his arms, not his legs. Man's milking this injury more than an English Premier League winger. I guess at least he washed the jeans. He better have used fabric softener, as there's literally nothing worse than stiff denim. Anyway, my wife was brutally murdered before the outbreak, and now I'm out here looking for a purpose in life. I decide my purpose will be projecting her murder onto other survivors. I arrive at an enemy camp where they've left a harsh warning for me. Low-key thoughtful of them though. These people have no morals, but that's better than having no HUD. I mean, it looks pretty for the video, but it's quite hard to aim and use medkits and shit. I put a little bit of blue tack on my monitor for a crosshair. I spoil you guys with production quality, but I also edit all my videos in iMovie, so it kind of balances out. I sneak up behind a man fixing his car, but due to having no HUD, I'm unsure what the button is to assassinate him. I end up having to chop him up with a machete like I was an African warlord and he was a 14-year-old boy who refused to join my militia group even though I asked him nicely. It seems like these animals are sleeping in tents. That's dope that they get to go camping every night. Nothing like looking up at the stars before bedtime to optimize your circadian rhythm. As I'm sneaking around looking for more stealth kills, I hear something coming. It doesn't sound great, especially when you consider I've only got 14 bullets for my pistol. It turns out to be a horde of zombies. Wow, kind of cringe that they're making this apocalypse all about them, as I was in the middle of Tom Clancying a base, but we move. I make a swift escape, just kidding, I get caught in a bear trap, even though Boozer seemed more like the bear than Deke, and then a zombie attacks me and I die. Wow. I figure I better go and get some ammo, and so I ride for a friendly camp nearby. These guys have a person open and shut their gate, which seems far more sensible. God forbid Boozer climbs down from his ivory tower and operates the gate at our base. I replenish my ammunition at the store and then have some deep and meaningful conversations with the residents.
You need something?
Nope.
I get my 8 hours and then take a ride around camp. You've got people farming and they're being protected by guards with guns. On my way out, I even notice they've hung up Christmas lights. Even in this bleak world, they're not letting their festive spirit be dampened. What great people. My next mission is of the utmost importance. I ride for days/4 minutes and mow down many undead walkers with my AK-47. Why did I take these dangerous risks? So that I could visit a stone that has my wife's name written on it. It triggers a cutscene and shows how my wife died. How did she go during a zombie apocalypse? Was it holding a machine gun mowing down hordes of the undead? No, she died by getting shanked from a little Esche chav. So weird. I head back over to Boozer and he's still sitting there looking submissive and breedable. I decide that I won't stop playing this game until Boozer leaves this lookout and gets some vitamin D. At this point, I'm a little worried he's clinically depressed, just like most people in this generation. Many psychologists blame social media, but I think the leading cause of depression is people not watching my videos. Please steal a depressed kid's antidepressants and tell them to watch my content instead, as this really helps spread the good word of my channel. I ride out and see a helicopter. I decide to aggressively pursue it like it was an up-and-coming young child star, and I was Drake. It's rare to see helicopters in this world, and it usually means something's going down. Some men in hazmat suits are experimenting on the zombies, but they get overrun by a horde and have to fly away. Having zombies swarm reminds me of when I tell girls how high my Xbox Gamer achievement score is. I literally have to fight them back with a stick, but that's just the reality us high achievers live in. I go and pick up some tracker they left behind, but a child zombie grabs it and runs off. It's kosher to terminate children if they're little undead nightmares, or if they're inside the medically advised 36-month gestation period. All of a sudden, another flashback happens back to when my wife and I were having a nice scenic ride together. I see some guys who've broken down, and I decide to impress my little shorty because the only thing women love more than a well-moderated Minecraft server is casual violence. I try to beat them up, but it's 3-on-1, and I end up getting my ass kicked. My little boo thing then begins unloading a gun into the air to scare them off, which is thoughtful but also a complete waste of ammunition. I'll send her an itemized invoice later because I believe in equality. Back to the harsh reality of present day, and I'm in a tunnel being pushed by multiple undead tangos. I know you guys probably think I'm like the toughest guy in the world because I have a gaming YouTube channel and I'm not scared of anything, but in reality, scary games really get to me. Days Gone is genuinely sick. I recommend playing it if you're looking for something fun. Like, these giant hordes are so dope. My next mission is tracking down a young girl named Lisa and saving her from this harsh world. I proceed to track her footsteps and a 3D hologram pops up, just like in real life. She appears to be having a red hot crack at staying hydrated, which I think we can all respect. Unfortunately, a group of angry outcasts who cut themselves attack me, and no, I'm not talking about sexually confused drama kids. This cultist group is known as the Rippers, and they love killing and mutilating people. I guess it's nice to have hobbies. I proceed to gun several of them down in a heroic attempt to save the young lady. I then run past a playground that's situated right behind an old church. It was a much simpler time before internet chat rooms, when Catholic priests had to go and meet kids out in the real world. There's no time to waste as a girl is in danger, but first I obviously loot the entire area as I don't want to get missed loot anxiety. I climb up a ladder and enter the family home, and it's honestly disgusting. I get it's an apocalypse, but that's no excuse to live in such conditions. Did the zombies eat all the brooms and Ajax spray and wipes? Have some self-respect. I find the child and she's sitting on the ground looking miserable. I regret taking on this mission. This lass has bad energy. All she talks about are her dead parents. I'm getting Scorpio vibes. My girlfriend's sister is into star signs, and I always have to pretend that I don't think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, star signs have about as much intrinsic evidence as Scientology. Anyway, if you're one of my single male subscribers, I offer you some sage advice. One day you'll have to pick between openly hating star signs and getting laid. I kill this grizzly bear and then realize I've lost Lisa. It turns out she was hiding in a dumpster. Thanks for helping me out back there with the bear, big girl. I really appreciate it. Also, super unhygienic getting into a dumpster, you stinky malacca. We hop on a bike and I ride for Tucker's camp, as that will be the perfect place for her rehabilitation. I arrive and it's all hugs and happy days. It feels good to have changed this little lass's life for the better. I go and get a well-deserved 8 hours and then decide to cruise around the camp and do a little observing. I see a man resting on the ground. I get it, farming is hard. Not that I've ever personally farmed, but I do grow some basil on a pot on my balcony, so I'm semi-seasoned. A guard then comes out and beats the shit out of this guy for being lazy. I'm all for corporal punishment, but doubt spreads over me as I start to remember from last time I played this game that this place is actually pretty sadistic. I just bought a young girl here. I sure hope she doesn't mind getting kicked in the stomach multiple times an hour. They've got people digging mass graves, they've got people doing washing. I guess washing isn't evil, but around every corner there's some poor worker copping a beating. I feel like I've dragged a sweet innocent girl out of her family home where she's been surviving for years and dropped her at Auschwitz. No point worrying about it. I ride off into the distance, breathing in that sweet summer air. I continue doing my duty of torching zombie nests and killing the undead as they run out. Evicting families from their homes is always good for a cheap laugh, as long as they look different to you. All of a sudden, the radio I stole goes off, and it's those sketchy people from before. They arrive in a helicopter and all spread out. I sneak up on one and try to assassinate him, but the game's like, nah blood, this is a friendly stealth mission, no killing. So I just throw my hands in the air and surrender like I was a French guy at laser tag. I'm forced to restart, but this time I'm much more cunning as I follow the man in the white hazmat suit. This reminds me of when I used to follow this young girl home every day from a distance. I used to watch her from afar and even sometimes offer to elevate her position in the entertainment industry if she sucked my dick. Oh sorry, that wasn't me, that was Drake. My bad, I'm a silly goose. The guards conveniently decide to fan out into random directions. Nature walks are meant to be fantastic for your mental health, so I respect it. This leaves me one-on-one with white hazmat suit guy. I pull out a gun and I'm like, what's going on, mate? We have a good yarn, and then he mentions that my wife is still alive. Oh my god. She's the last person we need around here in this resource-limited environment. Mrs. wastes all the bullets by shooting in the air. I'm so excited to tell Boozer, so I quickly ride back to our tower, and the lad is sleeping for a change. Seems to be having some kind of night terror. I don't think he's okay. Bro needs some Prozac and a cuddle. I attempt to ruin his sleep by flashing my torch into his dilated little pupils, as it's my favourite pastime. In the morning, he appears to be having some kind of seizure. As far as best friends go, I have found an absolute stinker. It's time to rise and grind as I complete as many main missions as possible in an attempt to get this bald, epilepsy, chronic fatigue-ridden lad to literally do anything other than rest. My first mission is giving one of our fallen comrades the respectable funeral she deserves. She's leaning up against a statue, and so I throw a Molotov cocktail at her body so it burns her into a disfigured, scarred up, medium rare corpse. I'm not really sure how this is better than burying her, but I'd still hit. I ride for my next mission, and tell me this game doesn't have a cool environment. People hanging from train bridges. These guys weren't actually hung by evil people, these people hung themselves after watching Jojo Siwa's latest music video. My next mission is this dude wanting to teach me how to hunt. I think I was meant to do this mission ages ago, as being taught how to hunt seems odd as I murder 100 zombies a day. Even still though, nothing makes you feel more like a man than killing an innocent woodland creature.
Got it.
I skin the beast and then I'm teleported to a camp that I'd honestly forgotten about. This camp seems happier as there's no one being beaten and kicked by guards. These guys are enjoying a twilight conversation by the water's edge while this bloke simply fishes. This camp seems very bloody relaxing. Why did I not take that young girl Lisa here? I decide I better actually go and check on Lisa. First though, I spray my motorcycle red and put a woof on the side so that the hoes know that Deke leads the pack and is also probably a furry. I don't know why I think that, he just gives off furry energy. On the way I check on Boozer and he's just vibrating in his bed. Great to see, I guess. I then go to the other work camp to check on Lisa. I'm just confused as to what she really wants. I wish she'd just give me some subtle hints on if she's enjoying her stay here or not.
They won't let me leave.
Why would you want to leave? It's safe here.
I have to work.
Now, I've never been great at reading people's body language, but she seems to be loving it. She's also learning some practical life skills like tending to the crops. Who needs a horticulture degree when every time you make a mistake, someone kicks you in the ribs? Now that's how you learn. The old lass asks if I can track down a different girl that ran away from the camp. I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable about these missions. It's like my main hustle right now is retrieving young girls and bringing them back to this ruthless work camp. Better than being unemployed. I Google why do I keep running out of ammo in Days Gone, and the answers say utilize stealth more, so that's what I begin to do. I proceed to sneak around stabbing them in the back like they were FaZe members and I was FaZe Banks. They always eventually end up chasing me down, but my blue tack holds onto my screen strong and I gun the undead walkers down. I search for the girl and it honestly doesn't look great. Most of the fresh corpses have been ripped in half, which doesn't fill a furry with confidence. I climb to the top of the ladder and rescue the escapee. I just wish these young girls would give me a clear black and white message on how they truly felt about the work camp.
They starved me. I wouldn't follow her orders, so they wouldn't feed me. I'm not a slave. I'm not going back, do you hear me? I'd rather die out here.
I guess we'll never truly know if they love it there or not. I realize it's time to do some more missions to free Boozer from his tower prison. I go and put some flowers on Sarah's gravestone. This feels like we're really throwing in the towel here. I thought we found out she was alive, but it's good to see Deke has completely given up on that narrative. I guess we feel a tinsy bit guilty about facilitating young Lisa becoming a glorified slave, so I visit a gift shop and steal her a pet rock that she can play with. Nothing eases the pain of an 18-hour workday like a rock with googly eyes glued onto it. I ride back to the work camp and Lisa seems thrilled with my gift.
I brought you something.
It's beautiful. Will you take me with you? Take me back to Marion Forks.
Look, I can't because it's not safe.
I gotta turn in. They make us get up really early for work.
Wow, it's encouraging to see a young person with a true rise and grind mentality. I think Lisa might be enrolled in Hustlers University. I head back to camp and then a flashbang triggers and suddenly it's pre-apocalypse and I'm walking next to the river with my wife before we were married. It's our first date, I think. Suddenly it all makes sense as to why we're so upset that she might be dead. It's clear my wife did not skip leg day. Seriously, it must have been daily squats, glute bridges and hip extensions. My girl didn't believe in elevators, she took the stairs every time. I love remembering that some developer would have spent a good couple of weeks making her ass perky. What a job. We're here to pick lavender, which is pretty wholesome. Deke is clearly out here picking flowers to get laid, or so I thought. All of a sudden, she wants to go skinny dipping, but Deke's like, nah, let's actually go and pick some flowers. That's a big plot twist, but I guess he just genuinely loves the smell of lavender. I mean, I kind of understand. Lavender has a pleasant fragrance. Suddenly, we're back to present day, and I'm staring my depressed roommate in the face. He actually stands up and tries to hold a gun, but he can't do it. It's just a sore wrist, mate. I'm starting to think we just euthanize Boozer. I go off for a ride to clear my head, and then the work camp boss radios in saying young Lisa has been kidnapped by the Ripper cult and is best case being tortured, worst case dead. I arrive at the cultist camp, ready to be her knight in shining armor. That being said, she'd been surviving comfortably in her family home for years. I came along, took her from her house and put her into a work camp where others have personally described the conditions as slavery. At least she was safe there, but just kidding, the exact opposite. Rippers raided the camp and have now taken her into the depths of their barbaric temple. I'm really struggling to see how I'm the good guy here. Most of this video has been me taking young girls and delivering them to that camp. These are main story missions. At what point are we child trafficking? I work my way through the camp, stealthily eliminating the cult members. I find Lisa tied up on the ground, and they've cut up her face, the poor thing. The real travesty is that she didn't get her 16 hours of farm work in today, so she'll have to do double shifts for a week or so to balance out the books. The poor lass must be shook, and so I tell her to run ahead. I find this pretty funny, as now she's acting as a decoy of sorts for the Ripper's gunfire. You run ahead, Lisa, and soak up some of the bullets so I can use you as a human shield. Deke really is a dodgy malacca. We reach my motorbike and ride for the work camp so she can get back to swinging her pickaxe. Nah, just kidding. Deke suddenly remembers that he knows of another peaceful, happy camp where she can live a fulfilling life. God damn it, Deke, you couldn't have remembered about this happy, peaceful camp a little earlier in the story. Poor Lisa looks like Harry Potter and Seal had a love child. My homie takes her off to live a good life. I head back home to get my beauty sleep. I wake up to the world's worst roommate pointing a shotgun at me while he screams in psychotic anger. Maybe it's the infected wrist injury, maybe it's the suspected meth withdrawals. Either way, I wrestle the gun off him and suggest we go for a bike ride. He agrees, and so we head downstairs, get onto the bike, and ride for pastures new. Just two bros heading for a better life. I achieved my goal. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe, it helps me out a lot. If you're looking for more content, check out my other YouTube channel, Papa Pelly. I like your hat, bro.
Hey, bro. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Nah, I was joking.
Oh, wow. What the bro?
Nah, I wasn't joking. It's a cool hat.
I'm getting mixed signals here from you. If you want, we can just go on a date and discuss it over that. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you're coming on too strong. You gotta play cards more.
Oh, shit. Sorry. I'm just friendly.
Look, I hit on women all the time as well, but doesn't usually go that well. Nice to meet you, yeah?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And I like the hat, mate.
Oh, thank you.
Nah, I'm joking.
How you
How are we, boys?
Hey, Muscles.
Hey, this is nice hair, brother.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Oh, I was joking.
Not you too.
Take care. I love you.